Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Maybe that was a little too hard.
Meme review. Elon Musk.
Yeah, welcome.
Let's try that, right? Try that one, really? Okay. Yeah. Sure. Oh, man.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, gothic MAGA.
It's kind of tipping into the political area, which is like, I don't know, who needs it?
The political state of America and the rest of the world only continues to escalate, with no signs of stopping. And things are not looking too good. There are a lot of influential figures who are causing this, but I'd like to focus on one in particular. I do not like Elon Musk, and neither should you. I try to keep politics out of my videos as well as I can, but this is becoming increasingly more difficult with how directly policies will negatively affect both me and the people I care about. I'm sure there's no hiding that I'm on the left, and I feel it's important I establish my bias before we continue. Because, for some reason, the billionaire who was on Meme Review is now an influential political figure. And I think it's time I talk about that, because someone has to. There's a lot of misinformation surrounding Elon, so I think it's best we give some context. Additionally, the information in this video is from sources I've found online. If any of it is incorrect, please correct me in the comments. Elon Musk is currently the richest man in the world, sitting at a net worth of $303.7 billion, beating both Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos. But Elon wasn't like other billionaires. Elon was special. He gained social relevance in the early 2000s through his various companies he runs. He was a partial inspiration for Tony Stark in the original Iron Man, as well as having a cameo in Iron Man 2. Elon Musk had a reputation during the 2010s of being a bit of a memer, a troller. He reposted Reddit memes to Twitter, and that was enough for the masses. He also was on PewDiePie's Meme Review.
The past couple years have been, particularly last year, it was Meme City.
Meme City.
Yeah, Meme City.
Redditors loved Elon, but more importantly, the real world people did too. Time has listed him as one of the most influential people in the world 4 separate times in 2010, 2013, 2018, and 2021, being a Times Person of the Year for 2021. But that was because people didn't know Elon too well. He was just the funny meme billionaire who wanted to go to Mars. So let's go over who he is. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in South Africa to his father, Errol Musk, who is an engineer, politician, and businessman, and his mother, May Musk, who is a model and dietitian. Elon also had 2 siblings named Kimball Musk and Tosca Musk. He has the same fucking hat in every photo, who went off to do well in life, but not as well as Elon. Elon claims he didn't grow up in wealth, and that he also did not ever inherit any wealth or receive any large financial gifts, which is funny because neither of these things are true. You'll find Elon lying as a trend. His father owned stakes in 3 separate emerald mines, which allowed their family to live an upper-class lifestyle. And according to Ashley Vance in her biography of Elon Musk, Elon also received $28,000 from his father to start up his first company, Zip2. Let's talk about Zip2 and the rest of Elon's companies. Elon co-founded Global Link Information Network, later renamed Zip2, alongside his brother, Kimball Musk, and Greg Corey in 1995. Zip2 was a company that helped give local businesses an internet presence, and then later it began to help newspapers design online city guides. Elon Musk and Kimball Musk were bought out of the company in 1999 by Compaq Computer, where they both received $22 million and $15 million respectively. Elon used this money to co-found X.com alongside Harris Fricker, Christopher Payne, and Ed Ho. X.com was an online financial service and an email payment company. When they merged with their biggest competitor, Confinity, they renamed to PayPal, with Elon Musk sitting as CEO. He was later removed as CEO when the PayPal board voted to change the CEO to Peter Thiel, the co-founder of Confinity. Elon made a lot of money from PayPal, especially when they were bought by eBay for $1.5 billion in eBay stock. Using this money, he finally founded his first company on his own, SpaceX, with the goal of enabling space launches with the end goal of creating a colony on Mars. which is something Elon is obsessed with. SpaceX is still making billions today through government contracts with NASA and the United States Armed Forces. But Elon didn't create any of this. He had his smarter employees do it for him. Elon isn't a scientist, he just wants to say he colonized Mars, and he's having other people do it for him. Hell, he almost drove SpaceX into bankruptcy in 2008. Yes, I know about the 2008 financial crisis in the US, but still. One of the things Elon Musk is most famous for is his ownership of Tesla, who produce electric cars. We'll talk about more about Tesla in a second, but Elon didn't invent Tesla. He bought it, and again, proceeded to do none of the inventing on his own. Which, when you line up all of these companies, you begin wondering, what has Elon actually invented on his own? SpaceX is the only company we've talked about that he founded on his own. And even then, he has had more capable people do the inventing for him. Elon isn't an engineer like he claims. He takes credit for other people's work. On top of this, when Elon first moved to the US in 1995 to co-found Zip2, he did not immigrate legally. He was an undocumented immigrant for 7 years working in the US until 2002.
When they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
Yes, we were.
I'd say it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Which is ironic considering how he fights in his future against illegal immigration. But not for him, obviously. He's exempt from this in his eyes. Probably because he's white. Let's talk more about Tesla. Tesla cars promise self-driving, but ask any Tesla owner and they'll tell you the same thing. Do not trust the self-driving. It's not reliable and is regularly wrong, which you'd imagine would be the first thing they'd figure out before publicizing such a massive feature. But hey, at least you can make stupid fart noises in the car and watch Netflix on the screen. Elon Musk is a weirdo. He was the longest tenured CEO of any automotive manufacturer globally, and because of that, he changed his title from CEO to fucking Techno King. In 2021, what kind of 49-year-old billionaire names himself Techno King like 10 years after that title would have been cool to internet people? In 2022, Elon was under investigation by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, for insider trading with Tesla stocks, in addition to $20 million of fines. Elon was forced to step down as Tesla Techno King for 3 years, but remained on the board. But why Elon was investigated in the first place was that he had tweeted that he had acquired funding to take Tesla private, which was in fact another Elon lie. Let's talk about the trouble Twitter has caused Elon, or rather, X. Elon has been an avid Twitter user for years, posting memes and sharing his stupid opinions. He expressed interest in buying Twitter as early as 2017, but only made that deal 5 years later in 2022. Elon made this deal because he loves free speech and thought Twitter was working against that by not letting people be racist, which you'd think would be common sense for a social media platform to not want to platform bigotry, but Elon is a free speech absolutist, and hey, I'll say it, I think people should legally be allowed to say whatever they want. But that shouldn't make them immune from consequences at work, school, or social media platforms, like bigotry is being silenced because that's not the environment they want to cultivate. But what Elon doesn't get is that by allowing everyone's voice a platform, that means that a lot of negative voices have a platform. We'll talk more about Donald Trump later, but his account being reinstated on Twitter was one of the first actions Elon took when he purchased another person's idea, again. Trump was initially banned on Twitter for inciting violence during the January 6th storming of the Capitol, which he has still not faced long-term consequences for, considering he is about to become the 47th president of the United States. God, why did we let this happen again? Besides the point, for now. Right when Elon gained control of Twitter, he renamed it to X because that's his favorite letter, I imagine, and apparently he hates brand recognition. He fired the CEO and instated himself as CEO, removed most terms of service that prevented people from saying whatever the fuck they want, and made Twitter verification, that was previously used for identifying official accounts for public figures and brands to minimize confusion, a $7.99 subscription service. Needless to say, people did not like the changes Elon was making to what was already a hell site, and is now just a mega hell site. But Elon stepped down as CEO after a Twitter poll told him to. But his damage was already done. He let a Twitter poll tell him to step down. Elon is no stranger to controversy. One of his companies we haven't talked about yet is Neuralink, which he co-founded alongside a team of scientists. Neuralink aims to create a brain chip that can assist with treating brain diseases and damage, with the end goal of cybernetically augmenting humanity, which, all things we've talked about even so far considered, Elon is the last person I want putting cybernetic chips in my brain. Elon wants Neuralink to communicate with artificial intelligence, and has been conducting experiments on animals up to this point, which is where a lot of this controversy comes from. He was under fire for approving euthanasia in these animal trials, where veterinarians found that his Neuralink chip caused issues from electrodes being surgically implanted during these experiments on primates. The ethics are very questionable of this venture of Elon's that he's having other people do the work for. First, we're letting an insanely unstable and dishonest man plan on putting devices in people's brains that change how their brains work and can likely be influenced by his company to alter brain patterns. Second, he's conducting unethical animal trials where he is euthanizing most of the animals. And finally, he's fucking insane. Not only is Elon Musk insane, he also consistently makes promises he cannot deliver on. This can be attributed to him either being misinformed on his own products and ventures, which is bad, but not unbelievable, or that he is outright lying, which is worse. For example, Elon claimed in 2012 that Tesla chargers would eventually be free and powered off the sun. This has not happened. Elon claimed Teslas would reach a 621-mile range by 2017. It's 2024, and the most expansive range of a Tesla vehicle is 402 miles on the 2024 Tesla Model S. In 2016, Elon tweeted, again, because he can't stop his trap from yapping on that godforsaken hell site, Teslas will be summonable from anywhere across land, even across the country, within 2 years. This has not happened. Tesla would start production of an autonomous minibus in 2 to 3 years. There is no evidence of this happening. One of the more heinous ones is that Elon started charging Tesla owners for self-driving in 2016, claiming that by 2017, it could take you across the continent just by entering a location, but even now, you can barely even trust the self-driving to get you through a parking lot. Get this one. This one's rich. Elon promised Tesla employees free yogurt and roller coasters across their Fremont factory in exchange for not unionizing. This is literally only half of the Tesla-related ones up until 2016. There's so much more. But one of the most famous empty promises of Elon was his Hyperloop, an underground train that can supposedly travel across the country going nearly 300 miles per hour, using an air-bearing surface inside a low-pressure tube with pods traveling through. However, despite proposing the idea in 2012 and claiming in 2017 that he gained verbal approval from the US government to construct a Hyperloop, traveling between New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C., no further progress has been made since then publicly. Elon's empty promises related to SpaceX are even more ludicrous. Elon claimed in 2017 SpaceX rockets would soon be able to take passengers from New York to London. There's been no news on this since. Elon is obsessed with going into Mars. It's been his goal with SpaceX for as long as I can remember, which would be all fine and dandy if he was actually making any progress on this whatsoever. Elon claimed in 2018 that by 2028, SpaceX would probably build a base on Mars, but the fact that we haven't even gotten close to getting to Mars, this seems wholly unrealistic at this point. Elon claimed by 2022 that SpaceX would invent a flying car.
Wayne Tech promised an
Lying.
car by this year. I put a deposit down. Where's my goddamn
Lying.
car?
Elon claimed that, quote, SpaceX is starting a program to take CO2 out of the atmosphere and turn it into rocket fuel. There's been no news on this since. Elon promised to open a litigation department where he will initiate and execute lawsuits. Now, why would Elon lying about this be anything more than another item on the pile of empty promises and lies? Oh, I don't know, maybe because his reason for forming this department was because he was accused in 2018 of sexual misconduct by flashing a SpaceX flight attendant, and then instead of denying it like an innocent person would do, he offered $250,000 in settlement and, offered to buy her a horse? This guy's a weirdo. This is literally less than half of his lies. In addition to lying about where his money comes from, he also claims to be a philanthropist. I am fully convinced this is because of fucking Iron Man. Because this man has done next to no genuine philanthropy in his entire career. His charitable donations all benefit him or the Musk family and are either to subsidiaries of his, companies he later purchased, or political campaigns. Elon is not a philanthropist, and any of his donations only have his interests at heart. This is all just the tip of the iceberg. I could make a whole separate video on just his lies. Not only is Elon a liar and a con man, he is also an awful businessman and only succeeds because of other people's hard work. He continuously makes bad business decisions, such as repeatedly making controversial statements that are just outright bigoted.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Okay.
Soros reminds me of Magneto, which is deadass just anti-Semitic. For sure wise for elderly or immunocompromised to take the vaccine, but some debate about the second jab though. Quite a few negative reactions to that, which is a conspiracy theory questioning the severity of COVID-19, which he is using his massive platform to promote. And this tends to make it difficult for advertisers and investors to put their faith in him. He tanked both Tesla and Twitter stocks off his statements. Besides this, another bad business decision he makes is firing too many of his staff to cut corners. He overpaid for Twitter in his eyes, and so he cut over half of the staff, which was 3,700 jobs. And this led to less staff to manage issues, and this ended up causing delays and hurting users of the site. Elon is also just kind of a mean guy. He falsely accused someone of being a pedophile just because this guy thought Elon's plan to send a mini submarine made out of SpaceX parts to rescue a boys' soccer team who got trapped in a cave was stupid. Elon also made Chloe Fineman cry behind the scenes at SNL, which he hosted one week for shitting on her script so bad because he thought it wasn't funny. Which is ironic because his entire episode was unfunny.
No, I am not evil. I just misunderstood.
Elon has a history of rage-fueled outbursts, and his mistreatment extends to his employees as well. Let's talk about this weird guy's family. Because he's weird. Elon Musk has had 12 kids, with one dying in infancy, with 3 different partners. From this, we can extrapolate that he loves raw dogging it. I'm pretty convinced it does something for him because he offered his sperm to help colonize Mars multiple times, then denied it. Elon was first married to Justine Wilson from 2000 to 2008, in which time they had 6 kids. Their relationship ended as a result of him dismissing her career ambitions and trying to force her into becoming a trophy wife. He also described himself as the alpha in the relationship. Elon then had his most famous relationship, him and Grimes. They were not ever married, with their relationship being described as fluid, but Grimes still described him as the love of her life. Ew. People were invested in the two as a couple because the union between the tech billionaire and the musician was an interesting fusion. Another example of alternative women and their rat boyfriends. Elon then entered his current relationship with the director of Neuralink, Siobhan Zillis. Their relationship has been relatively private, but court documents reveal they've had 3 kids. Now you might be wondering what caused Elon and Grimes' relationship to fall apart. Not all of Elon's relationships with his kids are fully public, but I'm sure X-A12 will have some public gripes with his father in adulthood over that fucking robot name. Elon's most public relationship with one of his children is definitely with his daughter, Vivian, and this is rumored to be the reason Grimes and Elon separated. Vivian Wilson is a trans woman and also Elon Musk's daughter, but she has distanced herself from him by changing her last name to no longer be Musk. But what drives someone to hate their parent that much? Probably the fact that Elon treats her like shit because of her gender. Elon Musk is a transphobe. He does not like trans people. He is a bigot. Gender dysphoria is real, and gender transition alleviates the symptoms. Elon preferred his own child be unhappy just to be a specific gender assigned at birth. Elon blamed his daughter coming out on neo-Marxist propaganda in schools, and that he had been inspired to end the, quote, woke mind virus, end quote.
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son is dead. Killed by the woke mind virus.
Which is beyond disrespectful to his own kid. Elon outright lied about her, claiming that since she was 4, she would pick out jackets for him and tell him it was fabulous, as well as her love of musicals and theater in order to invalidate her gender identity. This is entirely fake, like literally none of this ever happened, ever. I don't know where he got this from. Elon is whipped into this frenzy over his kid, who he's supposed to love, who he hasn't even seen in 2 years at the time. No parent should treat their kid like that for being themselves. This is all ironic because Elon gets mad when people dead name X and call it Twitter. Pronouns suck. I love you, but please turn off your phone. It's speculated that repeated disagreements on gender identity led to their separating, especially since Grimes referred to herself as female-ish in the past. Elon's rampant bigotry that seemed to be coming out after Vivian came out in 2022 led him down roads that were unexpected. This honestly all comes as a shock how Elon's politics changed. Elon had, until this point, supported both Democrats and Republicans, but in every political election, Elon had only supported the Democratic candidate. Elon didn't tend to talk about his political beliefs as much before 2022, but he still described himself as socially liberal, fiscally conservative. But this socially liberal part obviously changed because of his hatred for his own daughter. Elon's conservative views were coaxed out by Vivian coming out, or at least this is when Elon became comfortable sharing them. Because in 2022, before the midterm election, he claimed that the Democrats had become, quote, the party of division and hate, end quote, and that he could no longer support them. Which is really ironic considering how much hate he has for trans people and how much division it's causing. Hell, he quietly had Twitter remove a policy that banned dead naming and misgendering of trans users, despite the fact that he later classified cisgender as a heterophobic slur and against Twitter's policies. Make it make sense, Elon. Are you a free speech absolutist or not? Or do you only like free speech when it agrees with you? Elon is against unions, which is no surprise considering he's a billionaire who will lose a minuscule amount of money compared to his wealth. He's terrified of AI, but not for the right reasons. It's because he's scared of Terminator, and people around him claim he knows very little about AI. Mark Zuckerberg described Elon's public statements on AI as pretty irresponsible. Elon doubts the legitimacy of COVID-19 and the efficacy of the vaccine, and during 2022 claimed that his pronouns were prosecute/Fauci, as in Anthony Fauci, the chief medical advisor for the CDC during the pandemic, as though he was anything more than an advisor. He is against wealth taxation, obviously, because he's the richest person in the world and he still doesn't want to pay taxes, as though it will put any dent at all in his wealth. Elon promotes right-wing conspiracy theories. He spreads misinformation and has referenced QAnon multiple times.
You know, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well, yes, but I mean, honestly, you know...
And so we can see that as his politics change, he began endorsing Republicans in 2022. And most famously, very recently, he endorsed Donald Trump at one of his rallies, where he jumped afterwards in the shape of an X. Because, X, guys, that's the Elon thing. Don't call it Twitter or he gets angry. Arrgh! Elon was the second largest individual Trump donor, and oh so happened was promised a position as the co-leader of the newly formed Department of Government Efficacy. Or Doge. Elon is like 14 years late with this joke. The nightmare reality where we live in, where this fucking man-child got his way and named an entire government department after the dog meme from 2010. The department was formed to increase government efficiency by firing large swaths of employees, which is really scary considering we know how this went with Twitter for Elon, and he has an agenda to push when choosing who gets fired. And quite ironically, the Department for Government Efficiency focused on minimizing staff has 2 leads. Now, this video is called Elon Musk from Fame to Fascism, and we covered his fame, and we've slowly been approaching the fascism side. Do I think Elon Musk is a fascist? I don't think he's all the way there, but he is certainly okay with it. A fascist is defined by an ABC News poll as, quote, a political extremist who seeks to act as a dictator, disregards individual rights, and threatens or uses force against their opponents. For example, doubting election results, attempting to remove checks and balances, attempting to remove term limits for one to stay president, dehumanizing Latinx and trans people, inciting an insurrection claiming you'll be a dictator for one day, declaring all media that disagrees with one as fake news, and so much more counts as fascism, which are all things Elon's good buddy Donald Trump has done. And by endorsing Trump, Elon endorses fascism, whether he likes it or not. Whether he agrees with all of Trump's policies or not, Elon was driven to support fascism purely over his hatred of Vivian Wilson, his own daughter. So, since I recorded this video a couple weeks ago, there has been a slight development that I just wanted to talk about. Elon Musk had made his own fan account on Twitter for himself called Adrian Dittman, where he pretends to be his own biggest fan and even has interactions with his main account, fully pretending to be a different person. And the reason this matters is because he used this persona to go on a Twitch live stream to play Fortnite with Connor Eats Pants.
I don't think you realize how disconnected you are.
How am I disconnected? And what am I disconnected from?
Like, you think that, like, you can, like, put on a persona online and, like, people will...
I don't put on a persona.
You think
online.
that, like,
How
you're
am I putting on
fooling
a persona? Fooling people in what?
That, like, you're Adrian.
What do you mean, I am Adrian?
He even admitted after the live stream that he was Adrian Dittman on Twitter. Probably because it was so clearly him. But the point is, Connor Eats Pants said some of the same things I said in this video, and I just think the live stream was really funny. So if you have an opportunity to watch it, I'd really recommend it.
You realize that, like, your entire, like dialect and, like, your vernacular is, like, based in, like, 2013, 2014 era, like, online politic discourse on, like, Reddit. Like, you're so far behind.
Reddit? Reddit is an echo chamber. I've never been to Reddit.
But you're so far. What you don't realize is how far behind you are, and everybody's laughing at you.
Why? What's wrong with the Republicans?
They're fucking losers. I'll name
like,
3. Grimes, Vivian, Ghislaine.
Huh?
Elon is not a good guy. I'd go as far to say he's an insanely awful person, and he's about to make the world so much worse. Oh, and if you're wondering, this isn't defamation because it's true. But we've already been over it. Thanks for watching.